A very pleasant good morning and welcome to Bucks County Curling Club Sunday morning. And joining me is a extremely depleted Many Beers O'Donnell. Many Beers is taking his seat, lovingly clutching his Gatorade, taking a swig, considering whether that swig is going to stay down. And joining us in the booth, good morning, Many Beers.
Good morning there, Dave.
Right now we're just talking to each other right now, so.
Not on.
Well, no, we're on. It's just. Oh. Yeah, I got you, buddy.
Okay.
We should turn that one down off. So here we have a C semifinal.
Yes, we do.
Between Philly Bucks Diamond Margaritas on the rocks, Mark Wheeler, Lori Neal. From the comfort of the warm room, Robin Flavel, who's practicing her timing skills for later against Philadelphia Curling Club. And 3+ sheets, which is where you were last night, Mark.
I was more than 3 sheets. I think I was 4.
And as is per usual on a Sunday morning draw, we have just our cadre of volunteer staff. The good Dr. Ian Sheffer has been preparing his morning cocktail. Body Bag Mead is getting ready to make all the Bloody Marys. Kevin Stayer's on his 4th metal cup. Well, if you find mine, let me know.
Yeah, mine kind of disappeared somewhere last night as well.
So everybody who has a souvenir from us, thank you. And we got Lindsay, Kristen, Jane, Julia, and the man, the myth, the legend, Wayne Anderson. You're really hurting there, buddy, aren't you?
It's not a pleasant feeling going on in my head right now.
Man. I can turn down the monitors here a little bit for you.
Yeah, staying up to watch the last draw when I got home and celebrating for a while was probably not the best idea.
Yeah, you were having quite the discussion with yourself on the on the chat.
And then I rewound draw number 9 and watched that in its entirety. Don't ask me why.
Because you're a believer in self-flagellation.
Or flatulation.
One or the other. Well, I never had that actually work ever.
They all came off?
Bucks members, you appreciate this. In 2 clicks, I turned on 5 TVs, and they're the ones I wanted to. It is an awful lot of blue right now, so it is blue stones being thrown by Team Sheets. Mark Wheeler, one of the early members of Bucks County Curling Club. Matt Schulteis needs that one to curl up some. It's going to be on the high guard. And it will still be 4 Sheets stones on sheet B. We'll see how often we can twist our tongue here.
Yes.
You're still trying to untwist. Yep, any remote will work. You might want the remote rifle, Julia. Or else you'll get... So it is Team Wheeler with the hammer. They do have the last stone advantage. Hoping to have an opportunity to use it as Brian Dutt throws a fifth
stone, all
stone
up front
in there.
They got themselves the Pence fence up there.
Control weight called for here. And Matthew Schulteis. Brushers are on it. Lori Neal is going full on Smurf today. And that does kind of wiggle in there, and it will sit to be fourth stone, and it does give angle to the shot rock available. Pretty sure we're just warming up because I'm viewer number 2 and the inside computer is viewer number 1.
Okay.
Did the Sixers play last night?
They played today at 3.
Okay. We're up 2-1 in that series, right?
We are up 2-1. Surprisingly, I didn't think that's how it was going to turn out after the first game.
Jack Santorio is all Sixered up for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Sixers.
10-90.
76ers. Clap your hands, everybody, for Philadelphia's 76ers. We'll put a link in the description.
Ooh.
Pass this over to our man. And a very pleasant good morning to the Dean of Bucks County Curling Club, the head of the WSOC, the Wayne Anderson School of Curling.
Thank you for that introduction, Dave.
Unfortunately, only we heard it.
We're up to 9 now.
We're up to 9. Oh,
Yes.
I was going to ask whether anyone was listening to you.
No one really does listen to Dave, but
I debated long and hard whether I wanted to come chat with you two or just sit in silence and watch curling, and you won. So I guess I.
So we got that going for us.
We do have that going for us. And we're back down to 8.
Well, I had a big impact. And I just drew all those viewers in.
So we are paying attention to the chat. So if you have questions or comments, put them up there. Ooh, nice outcome there by Mark Wheeler. He rattled some stuff around. It does leave his shooter wide open. So Eric Sheets is going to dispatch that stone.
And Mark definitely had an advantage using that stick for the takeout. You can kind of throw a lot more weight with it and be on broom.
Wayne, what are your thoughts of that? Is it an advantage?
Well, it's. I've been doing a lot of test rocks while I'm figuring out what the ice is doing before we pebble and scrape, and I've gotten to really like it. I'm got a little bit of arthritis in my hip, so I would be better with the stick than I am with my delivery right now. If I was healthy, I don't know. I'll always go back to the regular delivery. I just think it's more fun. But the stick has really helped, obviously, extend the lives, curling lives of folks, and myself being a good example. If my hip never got back there, it'd be a use. But as far as accuracy, like I say, I can be more accurate with it, but it all comes down to grip and release. And if you can mess up a release on with the stick as well as you can with throwing it in the regular slide. Well, talk about a pressure shot in the first end, eh?
Yeah, and the advantage is he just came down this side, but I would think he's calling a draw. I think I'd almost rather throw the hit on the opposite side of the sheet, and because you just hit and stick.
Yeah, you can see almost all that stone you were talking about too, Dave.
Well, I do like a weight where your shooter's definitely not going to roll out. And so on this one, though, what you were talking about gives you opportunity. You're a little heavy on the other side. You're going to bump into something, aren't you? But, you know.
They like the weight. Matt says it needs some line.
Yeah.
That might just work. Yeah, it's going to catch the edge of it. Ooh. Well, it does cut it down.
That's a great shot.
Sure.
That's a great shot.
You know, in the first end, giving up one, you forget that you had hammer. You just say you lost the toss and you forced him.
Yeah, goal, Matt. Check mark. No, that was a great pressure shot by Mark first end.
We need to turn up Wayne's mic. Why would you want to hear him?
Usually I'm accused of shouting into these things. My wife says I'm always shouting into the phone, thinking that somehow that's needed to get to the person on the other end of the phone.
Well, they're far away.
Yes.
Paul, it's more Wayne's dulcet tones that are the quiet soundtrack of our summer.
Oh, I see the biter bars coming out.
Oh,
on
we
sheet
have
A.
a biter bar in sheet A on that game between
All right.
Ed Schemia and Murray Jackson.
So we talked about this yesterday, but in case one of our 8 viewers wasn't there, gentlemen, when are the 2 times that you can use the biter bar during the end?
Well, one would be to determine if it's a free guard.
Absolutely right. You can do that anytime that's questionable.
And the other would be if a stone's at the back intersection of the center line and the back line.
Yep, because you're determining whether it's in play or out of play, and it's not even necessarily in the... Yes, that's the bottom line. Those are the 2. So just keep it in mind.
I passed that quiz there.
You absolutely did. I had no doubt.
And
I don't know on that.
I don't know what the question is because they swung it past it, which means
It's not biting.
We will certainly give updates on the other sheets there. M play. Is that like, is your brother in sync?
All right, so things don't get any better in the morning than they do after you've had drinks.
No, not at all. Or,
I'm looking up at my buddy Benny Beers here. We're not going to get too many words out of him this morning.
No,
He's
no.
holding his head.
The most exciting thing was the play-by-play of him gathering himself. Wayne has a fine bagel from Buck's Bagels.
I apologize if that's coming through. On
It's okay. But Wayne's not fooling anyone. He went to the salt bagel. That's a hangover bagel.
Oh, wow. I thought I had a salt and pepper on my egg.
Yeah.
I thought that was what was left over, but it's actually a salt bagel. You're
Yeah.
saying? Huh? It's good.
Oh yeah, it's very good. And you get the extra electrolytes there.
Yeah.
Many Beers is all about electrolytes right now.
I really like the takeout weight that was thrown by the lead on that first hit.
Yeah, we've been talking about that, having that controllable weight. Really gives you a lot of options. So this next stone comes down as a guard just off the center line.
And maybe struggling a little bit with the fact that the first couple of ends, the ice is slower here. A couple of reasons for that, obviously the first couple of ends. But 2, you got the morning draw. It's been colder overnight. Ice just a little colder than they would have experienced in the afternoon. So they're going to be a little slower. Talking with Kevin that maybe for the championship game, because we'll actually, in addition to nipping the ice, drag rocks down there. They were getting about, I took a peek at it, we're getting about 13 and a half seconds hog to hog. And I suspect by the time we get to the third end here, we'll be up to 14 and a half or faster.
Yeah, I think we should be able to get the championships in the 15 range. Yeah, it is just a skosh slower right now out there, but that's, like I said, that's going to go away. It's also raining outside today, so a little extra humidity made it into the building. See just a touch of frost. They'll get brushed away by the sweepers and just by the airflow of the curlers moving around. Sheet A, it was a blank end between nutmeg and triangle, and I'm going to put the over-under on blank ends in this game at 2.5. I would, and I'd be leaning towards the over because Murray is well known that if he doesn't get his deuce, if he's not going to get his deuce, he's just blanking it and moving on.
So before I take the over or the under on that, is that on just his game or is that on all the sheets?
On his game.
On his game, 2.5.
Well, we already have one.
All right.
He had 2 last night. I saw that.
All right, many beers. Since your thinking process might be a little slow here today, I'll let you have first choice of going with the over or the under on that 2.5.
I do like the over.
You're going to take the over.
Yes.
All right. Then I'm left with the under. We'll see.
And we have we're wagering the other half of Wayne's bagel.
It will be a little cold by the end of the game. All right, we're going out to the middle of the 12 here. In fact, just a little outside the middle of the 12 for this shot. As an ice maker, I'm sort of interested in what we're doing out there. We've been working on trying to get that curl a little bit more. So we'll see where it ends up here.
Yeah, the sheet did run a little on the straighter side for the drill I played yesterday. But this is coming in nicely. They are looking to finish it off now, get that last little bit of curl out of it, and the extra little bit of distance, and we drag it all the way to the edge of the 4-foot. That's a well-thrown stone.
Goldarn, whoever's doing the ices, that's a nice correction on that draw there. That's middled outside of the 12-foot and getting into full empty.
Let's see. M play, Instinct's brother, took the over on the on the blanks.
Okay.
So Lori Neal.
Laurie, a very enthusiastic curler from the Philadelphia Curling Club.
Yep, and Matt says it's hack weight. We could hear off of our. It looked to be a bit lighter than hack.
Hack weight in the third end.
Or a 3-guard.
So he had the right call, just the wrong end.
But if we forget to mention it when we get to the third end, said the other day as well, that's when I find the biggest change in speed, that people really have to adjust their thinking in terms of what the ice is doing.
Well, yeah, because you've been in both directions now once.
Yeah.
So we're on that opposite 12-foot now, and Eric indicates that Brian may have thrown to the edge of the 12, and I would concur with that. So let's see how it does come in. It is starting to take the curl. Dragging it hard now. Gonna get to be third shot.
It's also cotton guarding up that left side to the 4-foot.
Yep, so Matt Schulteis. Matt and I joined the club at the same time. We were part of the same Lerner curl class. And by some miracle, we're both, we haven't been thrown out yet.
How many years ago was that, Dave?
6 years. He was on the stick, but it looks like it took off just a touch. That's be on the top one. Now you got to roll that shooter out of the way. There you go. Not the worst outcome. In our other D semifinal is on sheet C with Mark Mooney from Plainfield, who did me the pleasure of allowing me to sit in the broadcast booth with you this morning, last night. And Matt Pring and his crew of crazy Canadians, Alaskans rather, and Kevin Nogard. Sheet D sees Michael Glessner against a squad from, are they Plainfield folks or?
Which sheet are we looking at?
Sheet D. Oh, we got right. Oh, okay. It's Utica, thanks to our sideline reporter, Robin. We appreciate that. So Matt's going to take another run at this takeout, and you really need to make one of these now. This is tight to the guard.
I think he's
really tight to the guard. It's going to be really, really close, and it does squeak by. And that is a fine
nice
curling shot right there. And we have our first, okay, not so loud. Great shot by Matt Schultz.
That is a very nice shot.
And he is showing the requisite amount of motion that he usually shows.
Oh, a little flash here on A.
Uh-oh.
Two flashes in a row,
Yeah.
actually.
And we were setting up the blank, and it's not looking blankish anymore.
No, that really is hurting your guy's bet.
So Eric Sheets is just trying to make that good shot again for himself.
Yeah, and it's not an easy one, Matt. That was an exceptionally good one by Matt because, again, the guards are staggered the wrong way, that long guard. And
Would you ever throw the other turn at it?
well, I just saw the other team make the shot, so I think I would stick with it.
It does wreck on that guard on the 12-foot. Does open things up quite a bit, though.
Yeah, it did peel it out, which, like you said, I would think Mark's going to try to put something right back up there.
One would think that. So discussing our options here. This looks like a long discussion for what was probably the obvious shot anyway.
Well, I think what he's concerned about is he has the hammer, and guarding it, he's probably going to be saying, okay, I'm settling in right now for one, and is there a way that I can do something where maybe I have a possibility for more than one, even if it does expose the shot rack?
So what if you run up your own red there? You like that, Wayne? Oh, that side says no.
There is a little downside to that shot. I don't really have a good alternative. That's probably why they're taking a lot of time. But bringing a rock right in beside that other red, I might go along with that rather than putting a guard out front and have first, second, and third. And then see whether you want to take a shot, depending on what they do on your next one. You might be able to get three.
It looks like they did settle on something up front. So Mark Wheeler, left-handed, comes on out with the delivery device. That's away. Laurie says 5-6. 5-6 would indicate in the 8-foot to touching the 4-foot. Well brushed.
That's a pretty nice shot.
Oh, we're up to 15 viewers now.
And so for Eric now, this gets back to what we were talking about yesterday as well, in terms of whenever you go into an end, you should have a goal as to whether you want to take one, take two, force one, steal, whatever it is. He doesn't have hammer in this case, so normally you'd go into this end with your goal being to force the other team to take one. And doing anything to try and move the rocks around right now to get shot rock, right now he has a pretty good force of one going in, and if you said, hey, that's our objective, I probably wouldn't recommend rearranging the rocks a whole lot at this point in time. It's pretty tough. I might put a guard in front of the rock that he just threw and say, okay, I'm not going to give him the tap. Find another way that you can get into that 4-foot to get your 2 points.
Maybe take away that short run, because that's not only there for 2 also, so never mind.
Well, I mean, he does have, if he did do what I did, then actually I'm looking at it now. It would be nice to put a tight guard right between those 2 red, the one in the 12 foot and the other one. Take away both those shots from them, because you're right, you just guard the one on the center line, then he is going to possibly try the other one to get a deuce. Depends how aggressive he is. So they're taking away the short run that we were talking about, but that does leave him a rather, I'd say, a very safe tap on the other rock.
This stone's there with a good weight in it.
It's ending up
it's almost
awfully
exactly
close to where we wanted it. Yeah.
Yep. So faced with the options here of a tap or a tap, I think.
I think a tap's a good option.
I think I tap that.
All day.
All right.
Ooh.
Murray over on sheet. The hammer rock. Did it roll too far, guys?
It
Certainly did. It is a steal.
Not only did he not get his blank, but
he gave up a steal. But it's okay. He'll get that hammer back to get his deuce. So.
So, and going on what you were saying in the first end, he can pretend that the other team had hammer and blanked, and then he forced them to one in the second, and so now he's got the hammer only down 1-0.
And
feeling good.
All is right in the world.
Well, what do we think the team is settling on here?
It looks like the tap.
Boy, that's a lot of ice to be
Do you think maybe he thinks he can draw around and catch the side?
Boy, you'd have to that's like putting it dead on the pin in terms of accuracy if he was to try and outdraw that one. But
that's why we're up here and they're out there.
Yeah, but it's doable, and maybe just as easy as the tap in that blue rock is sort of guarding the side that you'd rather hit that red rock on a little bit.
Close to tee, but says Lori Neal. I think they're going to try to go blue-red.
I don't think it's enough weight to do it.
I don't think it's enough weight to move. Tap the one onto the next one, only makes contact, and it is just one. So we're tied up at 1 after 2 ends. The curlers are starting to get their legs under them. They had decidedly less pep in their step this morning when they arrived.
That's usually Sunday morning. Wrapped up at a bonspiel on one happy hungover day.
And when I was greeted with a groan when I wished the curlers a good morning, I ask them to reflect on their existence this weekend and identify that there may have been a game that they could have won or lost to avoid this outcome. I chose to lose a game. So the lead rock from Sharon is going to be a very cornery corner guard. She had a little bit of a stumble out of the hack, though, so. Over on sheet D. It was a score of 1 in the second end for Utica, so it's 3-1 Philadelphia after 2. And it's knotted up at 1 on sheet C between Mark Mooney and Matt Pring.
And then we had our first example of the third end rock going through the house on a draw weight. I mean, that was going to the board on that one. I did like the rotation on it, though. Nice, completed one rotation before it got halfway down the sheet. And that's something you always can keep in mind. Take a look at your rock. When does it complete the first rotation? You'd like it before it's halfway there on a draw shot.
So this one's a little bit closer to the broom, but they're trying to carry it the whole way.
They're going to have to do some work to get that over the hog line. Matt's trying it. He's giving it the old Drexel effort.
The old Drexel Dragon effort. Our alma mater. Now, Matt did make sure he applied his sunscreen before he came in this building today.
Yeah, I don't know what's whiter, his skin or the shirt.
It's pretty damn close.
If Matt would lay down on the ice, if he didn't have black pants, you wouldn't find him.
Oh, we love you, Matt.
And although that rock is light, I do like the fact that he over-adjusted. He'll get that. I'm pretty confident the next end he'll be right in between those two, rather than continually being heavy or continually being light.
That is what you always say. You want to make a positive adjustment. We've made Wayne completely self-conscious about eating his bagel now. From the fine bagel shop across the yard, Buck's Bagels. They make cheese steaks and all that stuff now, and until they sponsor it, that's as much of a plug as they get. But they are not as fun and cool as magnets are, because magnets are always fun and cool. So Brian Dutt says that this has all the weight it needs.
Yeah, just unofficially, look at the clock. That was 12 seconds from that, the hog to hog.
Okay. But that's 3 out of the first 4 players who have put their draw shot through the house in the third end. And that's really not surprising. If they're not thinking that the third end is next.
So there you go, guys. Another Wayne nugget for you to stash away in your curling database. And let's say 4 out of 5 stones.
No, this is a same player throwing the second shot, and that's a very nice Nice adjustment on her weight. Well done.
Lori puts that right there on the lid. If we were a different Bonspiel, we'd go, box!
Now that would have been a perfect rock to get a hog-to-hog time on. Couldn't get it more on the hog or on the tee line than that.
That one's on the guard. Brian dances out of the way. I think that was a foxtrot.
I was sitting watching a game last night and just chatting with the folks beside me, and I happened to have my stopwatch, and I looked at what the hog-to-hog time was, and they were asking me, why are you doing that? What do you use that game? They see people doing it in the game. What's the usefulness of that? And there really are a number. Just like we're sitting here sort of saying, okay, the speed, was 13 and a half seconds in the first hand. What's it doing now? You can learn that by watching an opponent's rock, right? That first lead rock going down there in the third hand, see what it is compared to what it was in the first hand. You're not even shooting. Might as well get some information for yourself. How much has the ice changed during that time part? So I said that's the one thing. The other thing is the skip. Sometimes when I'm with a new team, I'm asked to spare as a skip, and I'll ask a player, throw me your normal takeout, whatever it is. I don't know. I've never met them, never curled with them before. I'll say, throw me your normal, and I'll time the hog-to-hog to get a feel for what it is. And if I like it, the only time I'll ask them to change it from normal is if they threw too heavy. Because it gets back to needing to keep the rocks in play. But as long as they throw a weight somewhere between what I consider normal and bored, I'll say, great, that's your normal weight, and I'll just adjust my broom for that. I won't ask them to change. But once you get to a more competitive team, now let's say you're going bonspieling with the same three guys all the time, you want to be thinking in terms of your normal. You should be able to translate that into exactly what is at hog-to-hog. And you should be practicing as a team to, if you're saying that your normal takeout is 10 seconds, hog-to-hog, you want to practice and make sure that you're within a half a second of that. If you're within a half a second of that, your rock is going to do pretty much what the skip's expecting in terms of curl. But you get outside of that half second, it's going to do something different normally. My daughters, who curl on one of the national teams, when I told them that's what I do in practice, I give them my team a point if they make an open hit with no sweeping. I give them another point if they get within a half a second of the desired time. And she said they sort of do the same thing, but theirs, it's 10 up or 10 down. So whereas I've got plus or minus 0.5 seconds, they want it within 0.5 seconds.
Wow.
On the right side. So sometimes you're calling a shot and it really, hey, just don't be lighter than what I'm asking for. Or in another case, it might be just don't be more than what I'm asking for, but shoot for this. But, the pro side is to be a little down. And so if you're a team, get to know that. And sometimes your normal weight will change from rink to rink. You might, if you're on some of these teams are arena ice, hey, that's going to be different than when you come here.
So we've traded a few hits here the last few stones. Still just sitting one in the house, and Mark's going to try to hit and skitter underneath the lone centerline guard.
While we're waiting for him to get set here, the one last thing that I told her is that as a skip, I also time it, and you can figure out, based on the long time, where's it going to stop? So if you're expecting it to be 14.5 to stop on the tee line, and it comes in at 14.6, you're anticipating that's a little bit slower, that it will stop one rock short of the tee line if they don't adjust it for sweeping. And you can really do that by that point. 0.1 equals about one rock, I've found roughly. And so you can really predict. And I've talked to top skips that they really do that. And sometimes you'll hear on the TV skips yelling out 14-3. And that's just information to the sweepers. The sweepers also know where a 14-3 is expected to stop. And so they may be judging it, thinking that it needs a little bit of sweeping, but they hear the skip say 14-3, and that's a little bit faster time that they want. They just sort of maybe don't sweep quite so hard, back off a little bit and question themselves. It's just another piece of information that they've got on where it's expected that that rock's going to stop in addition to their visual.
So Mark's rock made the hit and rolled the opposite direction. So Eric is coming after it. Going to make the hit and stay right there.
Yeah, I like that. It finished a little bit of curl on that outside. That's where we've been working to try and make that even do exactly what it did there. I was happy with the looks of that.
We should have it perfect by the time we melt down.
We had Kevin Stayer on the scraper this morning, and we were trying to get in an extra pebble and scrape, and he was running behind that scraper for full time. Good workout.
He said he could feel the burn in his shins.
Yeah.
It's a good thing because that other burn he had to get treated. So it will be a takeout here for Mark Wheeler.
And it's really nice to be able to stick on this. Not so much that you're really expecting to score. I mean, Eric's a good hitter. He's in all probability going to eliminate it. You're probably not going to roll to a spot, low probability of being buried. But sticking forces him to actually hit and roll out rather than just throwing through, if you can say.
Gotta hurry to make it. Gotta hurry to make it. Gotta hurry to make it.
Oh my!
Oh no! So with that unforced error, it's going to be a free draw for 2 for Eric Sheets.
Yeah. So as much as I said, you know, it's nice to stick, it's also an example that I also said you're not going to score anyway. So you want to make sure that rock disappears. Throw a weight and broom that, you know, is a little more up, because it's one instance where it's not critical whether you stay or not, because you're probably not going to score.
Yeah.
Make sure it goes away, but you would like to force them to take 1 rather than blank with a tied game after 3. You'd rather force them to take 1, and just maybe if you had hit and stayed, they might hit and stay as well, and then all of a sudden got the hammer back at 4, only down 1.
And this draw is no problem. It will be a score of 2, making it 3-1 after 3 ends of play. And to fill in Kim Cooper, it's a blank end in the third, so the score stays 3-1 in favor of Team Halsey.
Is that the Kim Cooper who is now wealthier by like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars?
That is the very same Kim Cooper.
Oh my goodness, Kim. Well, you probably have been on a shopping spree this morning or planned. That's why you're not here. She's probably on the way to the mall.
No,
right
no,
now.
she's buying us gifts.
That could be it. She was very nice. I actually, she gave me a commission on that when I gave her that last ticket.
Okay.
Said, hey, you might want to buy this as a gift for Dan. I noticed her name came on the ticket though, rather than Dan. I don't know whether he got any of it or not. But I said, you win. I need a commission on this. I'm giving you the last ticket for this race. And so she lived up to her word. I'm wealthier as well as a result of that.
Well, we won't be having a blank end on sheet C.
Count them up, Dave.
A lot. There's like 12 rocks in there. One redstone line shot for Team Pring, and that's all it's going to be. They're just going to throw this one away, I think.
Sometimes that is the best thing to do when you can only make things worse.
I mean, even the Croydon Messiah cannot make this one go. Although he's discussing as if he has a shot.
I haven't looked at where the...
Now we're going to take another look at it.
I don't know. You're on the clock, Matt. You better take care.
Is it what? Oh, okay, there you go. Then
So
Blue,
he's looking for a guard.
Blue has hammer. Okay. Then definitely a guard. Thanks, Peanut Gallery.
I think he was just looking at which side to put the guard up on.
All right.
A couple of nice blue rocks here on this sheet.
And over on sheet A, it is a very contented Murray Jackson who took 3. So he's up 3-1 over Ed Schemia and his bag of nuts.
Now, Mark, going on the offense here, he is down 2. It's the 4th end. He has hammer. I was asking for a corner guard, but coming out a little wide, and actually, if it has the weight to come around into these blue rocks, it's actually a shot I would have preferred, but I think it's just over-adjusted on her weight from that last one going through.
Well, you heard it right there from Brian Dudd. He says it's all there.
And what is all there?
It's there plus.
It's there plus.
And indeed it was there plus.
What do you get in that stone there, Wayne?
That was a 13.5. So, I mean, that would have gone through.
And that was a draw in the first end.
Yes. Yeah.
So there you see exactly what you're saying, the ice changing during the course of a game. Now, is there a point in the game, Wayne, when you would expect the ice to turn back the other way?
You do have to watch in the late ends. We haven't experienced it here. We would be, if we hadn't turned the temperature of the ice down, we would be experiencing it. In the last couple of ends, you'd expect the slide path to start getting the pebble getting worn off and going flat. And once that happens, I mean, so many times it's frustrating to watch teams, the sweepers say, oh, it's all there, plus, and they back off, and then all of a sudden hits that slide path in the end of the game, and it just comes like it hits sand and comes to a grinding halt. So, again, yes, later in the ends, you want to be watching for that.
Yeah, and if your ice temperature is too warm, it will cause that pebble to be just a touch softer, so more susceptible to wear.
That's very nice. You play a great Vic. Those setup questions, I know that you know the answer to there, Dave. Well done. I mean, good teamwork.
Well, I try, buddy. So it's just a single stone for Mark Wheeler in the house, and Eric looking to remove it. This is all there, plus.
Yeah, pretty much his normal takeout, I'd say. 9.2 seconds. It's on
the firm side is normal.
Firm side, yeah. But when you're as accurate as that, then get the roll you want. It's all good.
Mark calling for a drill here.
Now, before that rock comes in, take a look at your screen, and you see those two rocks that are frozen together there in the forefoot, the blue rock. A lot of people think the only way that rock that's in the forefoot can go if you hit the top one is in line with where the rocks are lined up, i.e. to the back left corner. And you come down and hit that top rock on the left side so that maybe it's straight in front of the rock in the forefoot. You can actually make that rock in the forefoot go straight back or close to it rather than on the line from the two rocks if you drew a line through those. It's called the drag effect, and I often look for opportunities when rocks are frozen to be able to utilize those. You can make the rocks go in a multiple degree of angles. But it's hitting it on the opposite side of what you would normally do if the rocks were 6 inches or more apart. If that's clear. On a Sunday morning.
Well, I think the easiest way to describe it is you just act like the top stone isn't there. That's next in the budget. We're going to get a telestrator.
Good idea. I think you're talking to the right guy to get it implemented here.
I don't know if they're going to put us in charge of the telestrator.
Could be dangerous.
That could be dangerous.
Well, I'm just hoping that those blue rocks do get hit, and so that we can see what happens. Now, one of the benefits of coaching in the high performance program and following my daughters around is that I do get to talk to some of the top curlers in the world, and I was fortunate enough to be sitting beside Nicholas Adine at a spiel one time. And he was a great guy, by the way. I just used the opportunity. I said, do you mind if I just pick your brain on curling and stuff? And drag effect was one of the things that came up. And I said, does it make a difference how fast your rock is going as to whether the drag effect will be more effective or less effective? Or does it make any difference at all? And do you guys want to take a crack at what you think would be more or less effective in terms of speed?
Go for it, Mark.
Heavier?
Heavier is good. Heavier is always good, right?
Yeah.
But not in this case.
Okay.
My instinct was that as well. All right. But he says that the forward momentum, the faster the rock is going, the forward momentum, it just makes the rock keep going. I don't know.
Straight?
I'm not explaining it very well. But bottom line, if you're trying to make the rock go and have a drag effect, the easiest way to think of it is if the rocks were both lined up on the center line, okay, both splitting the center line perfectly, and you hit the rock on the left, the faster you hit that, the more likely the rock is still going to go straight down the center line, whereas you're trying to get it to go to the one side or the other. And he's saying that the less weight you throw, the more. And he's quite a billiard pool player as well, and he says the very same thing does happen in billiards. I have tried it in billiards. I'm just not good enough to do that. I've not been able to see it, but I trust him. I think he spends a lot of time doing it.
So we have 3 stones. Those stones that you're talking about got unlocked a little bit with the last throw.
Yeah.
Much to your chagrin.
Yes. You're not going to get drag effect now. It's basically depends on the rocks, but once you get more than 3 inches apart, I'm not too trusting that you're going to get the drag effect you want.
And we're back to a cluster.
Yes, they are.
4 stones now in front of the tee line, and we might get your drag effect here.
Well, that is true. All right. So if this rock hits it on right now, it looks like that blue rock's going to go way out to our left as you're looking at it. If it hits that top rock on the left, let's see where it goes.
Coming down, it looks like it's going to be just off nose. And there we go.
We'd have to have our telestrator and have figured out where exactly were those rocks lined up through the center of the rocks, and then to see whether that rock actually came more to the right or not. But that's sort of what you're
Oh,
expecting.
let's see here. Taking a look at the replay.
He actually is taking a look at the replay, folks. We'll get an opinion from him. I don't think it changed it a whole lot in terms of direction from just what
No, I don't
remember.
think so either. The chat kind of got in the way, but Eric is keeping it simple, stupid, and just saying a red stone's a bad stone.
He hits this one on the nose. He's going to make it tough for Mark again.
It's going to get some rolls, so the forefoot's going to be wide open, but you're wide open against quite a few counters.
Yeah.
So was that steal 1 in the third end for Team Alaska Bro, which has them up 2-1 over Plainfield in that D semifinal.
Always nice to be playing on Sunday morning, isn't it? I don't care what your event is. You're happy to be playing.
Absolutely. So over on sheet D, after a measure, it was 3 stones for Utica, and that places them in the lead by 1 rack, 4-3 over Philadelphia. I know Kim Cooper is out buying her team nice matching sweaters with the winnings.
Oh, that could be a good use of proceeds. Good.
I think so. Maybe some new CrossFit shoes for Denny.
There's not a really good spot to put this sucker.
No.
I feel for him, you know. Yeah, I mean, even if you sort of saying you come around and get half buried, it might jam on the rock on the back 4 there. But the thing is, if he does make that perfectly and gets half buried, you're not going to try and hit it out that way. All you have to do is hit that rock, red rock, anywhere, and the blues are going to take out the red in the forefoot. So I feel for Mark. It's a tough one.
Our culinary team is heading on out to prepare the smorgasbord they left over. So this stone's away. Lori says 5-6. I think they have to be close. I think you have to be real close. It's coming in harder than you think. Ooh, just a skosh heavy.
Ooh.
Yeah, and you see, we got 13-7 on that. It wasn't the most accurate, a little difficult when it's the far hog line so far away, but it wasn't your 14-5 that you were looking for to stop there.
So just going to guard the draw path here and make it quite difficult for Mark to escape with 1. Hammerstone coming down on sheet A, and
That's deep.
it will skip past, and it will be a steal of 1 for Triangle. Murray, Kathy Jackson, Kim and D. Hicks. This you might want to take this back if it's going to be
That's what Brian's thinking about, isn't it?
just one behind the hog line there, guys. T-line. Listen to what I mean, not what I think.
We knew what you were thinking.
Yeah, we got it. We've just been talking about hog to hog so much. It's
Yeah, I had
It's embedded in his memory.
had hog on the brain.
All right, so we see if Mark can make that fine-tuning adjustment to go from just through the house / back line to tee line.
Well, he's facing 6 here.
We're cheering for him to make this.
Oh,
Otherwise, it could be a short broadcast here.
Yeah, we definitely are.
Not cheering against our Philly team, but just want to see more curling. I like the fact that they're sweeping it, but I'd like them to take a look on it. But sometimes head down, all you can do. But somebody's.
Oh, this looks heavy.
Yeah, somebody's had to.
Here it goes. Here it goes. It's settling down. Matt Schulte is trying to will it to stop. Eric Sheets is going to bring it back. It will cut them down substantially.
I don't think the sweeping made a difference there, but that's an example. You just have to keep looking up.
Yeah.
Sweep, looking up. Unless someone is yelling you, heads down, in that there's no doubt in the person's mind that it needs sweeping hard.
So that was a steal of, I believe, 4.
Yeah.
And that makes it 7-1. So Eric Sheets is changing gears here a little bit and just throwing the first one right in the house.
You like that?
I do.
I'd be very disappointed in Eric. He's a good curler if he didn't call that. If you're up, you're in the house.
It's top 4 all day right now. They look to have a good handle on this weight. Well thrown stone right to the top of the button.
You know what I like best about that is the sweeping they used on that. There was different amounts of pressure they were putting on. They always had the brooms down cleaning. They knew it was close, on, off. It was never really hard enough. I mean, when the rock's close like that, you don't have to, you've got lots of time to get that. So, take a look up and down. I call it massaging. My girls' team didn't like that word. They wanted to do something else. But I think you're sort of just, so tenderly massaging that rock.
Sure.
A little bit harder rub or a little bit less,
So, in summary, Wayne likes his stones massaged, and he rubs them at different rates.
All right, we've just gone to X-rated, and we're going back to normal curling now, folks.
You gave me all the material.
Yes.
I mean, you would have been disappointed in me.
All right.
But I can kind of see.
Okay, we're changing topics, Dave. Yeah.
I got you, man. Still only one blank there on sheet A, so it's looking possible that we have a Mario Lascabro D final. They're still in the 4th end on sheet C, so we'll give you an update once that happens. Game's a little bit more deliberative over there. We got one in the house and one center guard. Well, just off the center guard. Trying to get hit and roll.
Okay, the line's pretty good on this one. If she has the weight, the line was right at the broom.
There it goes.
I think we may have been just a touch late here.
Yeah, they're going to clip it. But it still hit it.
And tucked it right underneath cover, unfortunately.
Very, very nice weight, very nice line. Gets back to another one of our discussions the other day. What's the other rule?
Never pick a guard.
Never reckon a guard.
Yeah, So that shot rock was well open. You know, sweep it early, keep it out there. Make sure you get by that guard.
It also helps the thrower's psyche too, because here you think you threw a good rock and you had a shot made and it goes up in smoke right in front of you.
Yeah, and then probably there are some folks listening out there who say, never take a guard. And
well,
you're right. Go on and explain that.
Sometimes you want to take that guard out of the way, right?
Well, if you don't make the shot, you want to make sure that you take the guard. You can't afford to miss everything. So
Yep.
taking it is a good option. You're just as happy. You know, one thing I would do sometimes. Let's say the rocks were just like they are right now. I will walk up and call an out turn and say I want to peel or hit off the top guard and put ice to actually hit it on the right side of the rock. All right? And if they hit my broom or if they're just a little wide, then I will immediately go to the shot that I really, truly in my mind want, is get the one in the back.
Sure.
All right? But let's say they hit the broom, the sweeping can't keep it out, and we hit the guard off. I'm happy. You know, it opens it up. The shooter feels happy because they made the shot that was called.
Yeah.
All right? And if I swept it to get by and hit the back one, they feel good about that too. We got the shot rock out. Whereas if you call the one in the back, maybe they miss everything because they say, I've got to get by that guard. And so they say, get it out there and miss everything, and boom, bad end result.
Yeah.
Quite true, quite true. So it was just a little light and narrow from Lori there. So it is 2 sheets stones in there. This one a touch heavy. It's going to come to the back of the house. Lori wanted to throw a tap there, was stretching whilst holding her arms in the international tap formation. But I like this shot. On it hard.
Oh, they're going to.
Just over curling.
Oh.
She is getting up. Did not hit her head. So that's
did not.
The first.
Oh. Okay.
Robin is thinking she may be called into action here. Now she says no. Well, glad to see that she's walking like no permanent damage done there.
Nothing a cocktail can't fix.
Yeah, this is first draw in the morning, so I don't think the cocktail was the problem there either. So.
Yep.
Brian Dutt about to throw. The Dutt family, both parents, Brian and Leslie, and have 3 excellent, what were all junior curlers. One of them still is, Susan, in numerous national championships this past year, and congratulations to her for making the high performance team this upcoming year. Probably one of the youngest ones this year, if not the youngest, to make the high performance junior women's squad. Had the pleasure of working with her since she was out of diapers. And the boys, Daniel is curling with my daughter Emily in this spiel, an excellent curler in his right, and their middle child Andrew, really good junior curler, taking a break a little bit from competitive curling while he's in university, but I anticipate you'll see him back on the Bonspiel circuit once he's out of the university.
No, a strong family and definitely developed into a good group of curlers. And I know you're very modest, Wayne, but you did a great job with all of them, and a lot of the young folks here in the GNCC, and really have it shows up in our representation in these higher level events.
Oh, thank you, Dave. It's a real pleasure, a treat as I follow the careers of them, and a lot of them now are into regular adult curling. I guess started that junior program in Philly back when we moved here in '91, and didn't have a program before that. So, yes, the kids who were 8 or 9 at that point in time are now approaching the 30-year mark.
Time does fly.
Yeah. Brian also is a great coach in his own right. He's done very well with the teams he's been coaching. And I was also, this person I was chatting with last night, I was saying I really like his final words to his team whenever they go on the ice. It's always high five and have fun. And he's sincerely meaning it. He's not talking about going out and being silly and fooling around. He's talking about go out and enjoy this sport that we really love so much. You know, enjoy it. And I think you relax, you play a lot better if you're focused on smiling and letting bad shots go, not worrying about it. You know, focus on the next one.
So it's a takeout attempt coming here from Matt Schulteis. I'd say we're looking at a control-ish weight. We're on it right off his hand.
I think he's good.
That's going to curl into the one on the center line. Almost could have let that curl up over and make the double. Over on sheet C, it was a steal of 2 for Team Alaska Bro. So they're up 4-1. Starting to line up that collision course with Murray Jackson. Steal of 1 for Laura on sheet D. No, I stand corrected. Steal of 1 for Utica. Okay, no, I'm completely backwards. That was a steal for Laura. 5-3 in favor of Philadelphia after 5 ends.
Eric showing no mercy here.
No, none at all. There's no mercy at a Bonspiel, Wayne. That's right. It looks like the under was the way to go on the blank count.
Yeah.
Taking a look over at sheet A. There's a lot of rocks in play over there. So Mark Wheeler faced with a difficult draw here to try to set something up here.
At least this time he's got not an easy shot, but at least one where maybe he could end up coming out of this end if he can just get by that top guard, centerline guard with back 4-foot weight. He might be able to move it back. I think actually maybe even a corner freeze, now that I think about it. You can't afford to bounce off that blue rock into the open, so probably better just to corner freeze. I think you could still be shot rock.
I think it's a little light, but on it hard now. And On it hard now as Many Beers getting right back on the train.
Yep, got to get back at that dog.
All right, guys, start your tally now. There it is. folks, we gave you the starting point. You'll just have to listen for that patented sound.
Mark had a perfect line. I mean, look where that. If it had gone another 4 feet there, I mean, it would have ended up on the center line even if it had gone 4 more feet, because it would have run straighter for a little bit longer and would have been corner frozen and shot rock. But just a few feet short.
Could be a game of inches. Trying to throw the guard here.
Now the sweepers think it's guard weight. They're going hard.
And also you need the line to drag it over now. So I think that all Mark's going to have is, well,
You could still draw around, but I think the tap, maybe.
I think the tap is what you have.
That's what he thinks.
I mean, and if she's just a little light or narrow, she could still curl under cover there.
Well, it looks like he's second shot right now. So if you could ever find a way, you could drive back the blue on the left, maybe split them off to make 2. Wayne's giving me that it's really difficult. And
I like the imagination.
That's a kind way of saying that.
That's Canadian for you're full of shit, Dave.
Well, back when I started coaching, I was always coming up in timeouts or half times when the players would come off, and you have halftime to give them some advice in junior curling. There were so many things I wanted them to do better that I'd always focus on. Well, you need to do this instead of what you're doing, and someone told me I needed to be more positive and find something positive to say, and so I really liked how happy you looked out there. You know? I just couldn't find anything about the curling game, you know.
Well, that's like sometimes if one of my teammates may throw a less than ideal shot in a very passive-aggressive way, you go, nice color.
Yeah. So the trouble with that raise and take out, you're probably going to have to hit it on the left, and you're going to roll somewhat, and I don't think it's going to be possible to outcount that blue one that's sitting on the top 12 to get your 2. But it's might be an easier way to get your 1, score your red, to double them out. That's a possibility. I think I like promoting the red, but I would come with the other turn. He's going to have to just miss that blue guard.
Well, he's trying to run the red onto the blue and hold the shooter.
I don't think
so.
Whoa.
Might get the other way now.
He might be going for this. No, the red's in the way.
Yeah, you had to sweep that.
And now he's lost his.
Oh.
That's not a good outcome. Oh, that blue in the back is. I didn't even look at that blue in the back before.
Yeah.
So sometimes you want to look at the downside of shots you call. So what could he have done differently there? You can't afford to give up more than 1 in that situation. So nothing wrong with promoting that red rock, but how about coming down with a weight where you're probably going to keep it? You just had to move it.
Right.
And move that blue back a couple of feet. So come down on the in turn, curl across, promote it in. You only hit half of it, you're still going to leave it as second shot.
So it is a steal 3, and it's 10-1 for team sheets.
And nice of them to think of the viewers here to give us more curling here and keep this going.
Well, the Rocks had to come back this side anyway.
Exactly.
And he's just throwing it through.
Well, that any rock in play right now is a friend of Mark's, regardless of color.
On sheet A, Skimia scored a single point. So it's 4-2 in that game, with Murray Jackson still holding the advantage.
That's not where Mark wanted that, baby.
No, you definitely needed a guard there.
Yeah, we talked about the elements that go into how to call an end, and certainly free guard zone is one of the rules that was implemented that has to come into your strategy on this and execution. When you're losing, that free guard has to be out front, anywhere out front when you're losing by this much.
Once again, thank you to everyone who is joining us this morning for this 9 a.m. draw at the 2019 Crooked Billet. Have Dave Schmel here along with Many Beers O'Donnell and giving us nuggets of wisdom, Wayne Anderson.
So as Dave mentioned earlier, if any of our listeners have a question about any aspect of a delivery or curling, give it to the trio here. We'll opine on it and give you our feel about something that might be on your mind.
Which means that's code also, again, we have more code here. That's code for Dave and Many Beers will say something and then Wayne will correct it.
Yes, to the correct answer. Unless there's an alcohol question.
Yes.
Speaking
I
of which,
bow to your experience on that.
yeah.
All right, this one looks to be closer to the stick in terms, in fact, I think right up the stick. That same, I don't have my stopwatch, but watching it, I'd say that's another 9-second hit. And again, Eric knew it was going out, didn't roll it, but there should always be one person sweeping on a hit and roll like that. And sometimes Mark would have been wanting to not sweep it. He would have wanted to leave that there, and Eric would have been sweeping it out. Just like he threw the first rock through, he would be continuing to want to get rid of those rocks in the back of the house.
We have Wayne's microphone up as far as it goes. Wayne could maybe move it up just a skosh closer.
Oh, is that better?
It probably is.
Yeah, my wife says she can never hear me on the phone either. I must have the phone in the wrong spot. So maybe you guys can just sort of observe where I've got this mic and whether I'm actually talking into it.
My wife doesn't listen to me, period, so it doesn't matter.
I don't blame her. Karen O'Donnell is a saint.
Okay, now Mark's getting the corner guards. He's wanting rocks out front. Unfortunately, his opposition now has the ability, because the free guard zone has expired, to be peeling these suckers off.
So Wayne, now that we're about a full season into utilizing a 5-rock rule, what changes do you see?
Well, you can follow the World Curling Federation in their meetings. I have had the opportunity to talk to some board members on the World Curling at different events, and that's something I'm always asking about. What do you have? I mean, up in Canada, this last spiel of the top teams, they experimented with in the eighth end.
Come on. Not only do you get the peel.
In the eighth end, expanding the 5-guard free guard zone to a rule where you could not tick a rock if it's on the center line, if it's at the eighth end. That's something they're sort of thinking. I mean, if that had worked, they could eventually expand that to not ticking a rock any end, right, on it. But I like that rule. I find sometimes when they're so good at the ticks now that you got a tied ball game coming home, and it gets boring. I mean, there's nothing in the center line, and all you got is corner guards to be hiding behind after you're done with the lead rocks. So I like that change. So I would say take a look for down the road that they might modify the 5-rock. I don't think they're going to go to 6-rock, but some way of making it that those rocks, if you get them on the center line, can't be moved. They also My prediction is that the 10-end games for national championships and international championships will disappear someday. I think they'll go to 8. That's another topic that they're always considering. TV is a big consideration in this, what they want. The pros of going to 8 ends is that, it's sort of nice for viewers not to have to commit 2.5 hours to watch the game. They're just committing 2 hours to it. But then the advertisers also want advertising time. And so money, I think, we'll talk a little bit down the road. I think the players in general are still preferring the 10 ends. So they may be fighting to keep that. But, that may change. They get so used to all these cash spiels now, the big competitions, playing 8 ends, that I'd be comfortable with them going to 8 ends, but they're the two things that I think are most likely to happen. Sit down, baby.
This has got to check up.
It was a visitor of the house.
It touched all the colors.
Eric continuing to methodically eliminate rocks from play. Again, the proper strategy given his score lead.
That should make it over there. And it does.
Nicely done. There's an example. He was calling for appeal on that shot. He threw a 9.8, which is really just normal takeout. And so people should not get excited if they skip calls for appeal. You don't have to throw a 4-second peel down there. You don't even have to throw a 7-second peel. You
don't have to throw 4 seconds away. Oh.
What would Dave do?
Well, no. It's more important where you hit the rock. And this one just isn't. It's not going to get by. It just dove. A nice curl there, but a little bit more curl inside out than outside in. Got to keep that in mind.
So for those of you who have been watching at home this Bonspiel, you have a great opportunity to come to Bucks County Curling Club for the Big Buckin' Spiel, which will be the weekend after Labor Day. Registration is open. Pool play, 4-game guarantee, lots of fun, complimentary hospitality throughout the weekend.
Great way to get a jump on the season. Great ice before your club maybe opens.
Always a fan of pool play. I kind of like playing that in spiels. Kind of puts you where you belong.
Well, that is the true. You end up, you actually get a nice sort of mix of teams, right? Because they'll sort of see that they'll have a good team and a couple of good teams
Sure.
in every pool,
Sure.
and so you get to play them, but not every team. And what I like about it, I said the other day, when I'm traveling a distance to go to a Bonspiel, I like to know that I'm guaranteed X number of games,
Sure.
and your pool play gets that for you. Minimum the number of teams in your pool -1, and make playoffs, and you got bonus curling.
And everybody makes the playoffs. So just end up in a different bracket. So
Even better. There you go.
that's what I really like is you get your teams that may have had their doors blown off, but they're going to end up in the D bracket with other situated teams.
So how many teams are you looking for in that spiel?
Well, we have I think another 10 spots open for out-of-town teams right now.
And that'll make a total of how many teams?
32.
32. Very, just like we have here. That's a great, and with 4 sheets, that's perfect for the draw master. And a beautiful draw there while we were talking away. That's what they were looking for. So 32, so you're going to have 4 pools?
8.
8? Oh, yeah, 8 pools, right. That makes sense. Okay. So three pool games in the pool, and then you get another game guaranteed.
Yep.
So you get guaranteed 4 games when you come, and you can get bonus curling beyond that if you keep winning.
Just win, baby.
Yeah, but that's nice. I just don't like the spiels where it's triple knockout and 3 games and you're gone.
Yeah, sometimes on a Friday night.
So, you're guaranteed 4. That's worth the trip, and you go in with the expectation, hey, I'm going to get 6 games out of this sucker.
We had Utica steal another point over on D. So it's 6-3 in their favor.
We're coming down on the clock.
Oh, yeah.
Does C and A get this off?
C does not have a chance.
No, A I think has it, right?
Yep, A will get to play 8 if they so wish.
Oh, yeah, because they are now out of rocks.
Yes.
Yep, the end is over.
And that's a nice rule you guys implemented here. Do you see them measuring, looking at rock carefully, whether it's 1 or 2 or whatever? They're not rushing to get to the next one so that they can say, okay, we get the full 8 ends in. That happens, Dave. When does it determine when they get their extra 2 ends?
For our purposes, as soon as the hammer has been delivered.
Okay.
It's a slight variance from the actual USCA rule, which indicates that the end has begun when all the stones come to rest.
Yeah.
That's a little bit more arbitrary, and if you're sweeping rocks in the house, somebody's looking at the clock, might be a little bit tougher to catch.
Man. So we have handshakes.
And we do. So congratulations to Eric Sheets, Brian Dutt, Kyle Conroy, and Nick Rudd.
Moving on to the final.
Moving on to the C finals. That will be at 1 p.m. But we're going to have some B semifinal action for you. Oh, they get 8. A gets 8. No. Do we have more semifinals after this, or we go right to the finals, Wayne?
I think we're going to the finals.
Oh, well, then there you go. Finals at noon. 12 noon then?
I think it's noon, yeah.
Okay, so we'll be back for that. So from the warm room, Wayne Anderson, Dave Schmel, and Many Beers O'Donnell, we will catch you later, give you a final update in the score. Murray Jackson scored 1. He's up 6-2 over Ed Scamia. Team Alaska Bro is, they are looking to score 2 here in the 6th, which will give them a 4-point lead. And it is Utica with the lead on sheet D, so we'll find out what happens, and we will see you for the finals. It's Sunday at Bucks County Curling Club. See you later.